been one serious low point. It's just, you always look to the next weekend.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So, what was it like holding the championship trophy or prize, whatever it was?
Well, I've done it a lot, which is great, and it just makes you feel good because all your team's there, and you feel like you're doing your part, and everybody on the team's doing their part, so you just feel like you're representing them, and that's the best feeling of all. It's not so much the championship; it's you feel like you did the right thing for your team, and you're doing the best you can, and it worked out because those guys are working their butts off, and I'm working my butt off, and it worked out. So that's a really good feeling.
Yeah. Have you ever intentionally wrecked someone or retaliated, or no?
Early on in my career, that's probably happened a few times, but not in the sense of sticking them in the wall or that kind of stuff. But as far as totally intentionally done it, no. So have I run into somebody because they deserved it? Sure. But that's decades ago, and anymore, as you get older, you tend to have a hell of a lot more common sense. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. So you wouldn't do it like Jeff Gordon, Clint Boyer style, or Kyle Busch, Ron Hornaday style. None of that, right?
No, I've certainly had it done to me, but I would not do that to somebody else. No.
That's really good on you, man. Because cars are just dangerous weapons when you use them,
That is correct.
Yeah. Have you faced any penalties that impacted your career in a good or bad way, or what?
Not particularly. There's been some driving infractions that were kind of not really major. They were just, kind of like getting a speeding ticket. And then we did have we've had two very significant tech infractions that were, they were just fractions of an inch on something with cam spec on one year that I won the runoffs, and we got thrown out for it because it was 10 thousandths over. Because we as a team mismeasured that, and it's on us. It wasn't because the people measuring it were wrong or anything else. We just missed it, and not that it made a horsepower difference in the car, but and then back in the the 90s, the early 90s, I won the national championship in SSGT in a rain race, and the car wouldn't pass emissions the way FCCA was testing it. And then, of course, Monday I found out they weren't testing it right. So, but there's no recourse at that point, and that cost me an enormous amount of money. So, those are the two infractions that were painful, but in the scheme of things, it's things you look back on and say, well, I wish that wouldn't happen, but that's life.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So, what are you doing right now, racing-wise?
Running American Sedan again this year, and this year most of the races that I'm going to be running are going to be at Road America, which is great. We really love that place. It's kind of I feel like it's a home track of mine, even though it's not, but we really love Road America, and we're going to be running the WeatherTech Mustang. All the races that we can at Road America this year, and hopefully do really well in the national championship, which is at Road America again.
Yeah, cool. What's your favorite track to race on?
Road America.
Fair enough. That's a very big road course.
Yeah, it is.
Did you see the NASCAR races that were held there in the early 10s?
Yeah, actually, and then they've done it just recently as well again, so that's been pretty cool. So one of our signature things is when we win a race anywhere is I do either really large burnouts or donuts, and the last NASCAR race they had there, Chase Elliott won it, and then he did donuts over the top of my donuts, so we all had a good laugh out of that.
Yeah. I remember in 2011 when they were starting out their race at Road America, how it turned into an absolute mess towards the end because NASCAR used up all their green, white, checkered finish attempts, and then the race leader ran out of gas, and then the new leader ran out of gas, and then Ron Fellows appeared to have won, and then it turned out he passed another car under caution, and so he was dropped to second. And then it turned out that the third place in line, basically, Reed Sorensen went on to win, and it was like there was a huge delay, I think, that lasted for several minutes. Do you remember that?
It sounds familiar. I remember when Ron did that, and I knew he was just cringing because it was probably one of those things where you didn't see the yellow and pass, because Ron Fellows is a straight-up guy. He's a really good person and a really good race car driver. So when I saw that, I thought, oh, he missed a yellow or something, and you don't know until the end that something like that's happened. So he got a pinch on that, which he didn't deserve.
Yeah. And he had no way of seeing it because the field was stacking up next to him, and by the time he made the pass on the person, the yellow was waving and he had already passed the yellow. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I've been in those situations before, and you really can't do much about it because you're doing something and you're keeping an eye, and then when you're in the middle of a pass, they pull the yellow out and they start waving it, and it's just a bad situation, and some people get caught out in it, and it's not really their fault.
Yeah, and if the yellow had come out like a split second later, it would have been different, and Ron would have won that race.
Yeah, he would have been fine. So, again, Ron Fellows is a really great road course driver, and I have a hard time believing that it was anything but a mistake or a bad timing on the flaggers situation. Just a bad timing all the way around. Is that, the course workers and stuff do an awesome job at helping us out, and they do a great job of, getting us out of a pinch if we get in a wreck or that kind of stuff. So they're wonderful. I'm certain it was just a bad timing thing.
Yeah, it was. And, I felt more frustrated and disappointed for Ron, though, when it came to the Cup Series, because he should have won a lot of the road races in Cup back in the early odds. Because did you see how close he came so many times?
Yeah, he and Boris said really did a good job at the front end of that, and they've had a lot of success at it. But yeah, you're right. It's sometimes it's a thing where the stock car drivers are also great racers no matter what you're doing. So like Jeff Gordon and those guys they're killer road racers as well, because they're just great drivers. So for Ron Fellows or Boris Said or somebody like that to come up there and be in the top three is something, because they aren't doing it every weekend. So
yeah. I really think if Ron and Boris were able to run a full Cup schedule, I think they would have won even on ovals, because they're really talented, in my opinion.
I completely agree.
They just didn't get any opportunities that were major aside from the road races, and that's pretty much it. And Boris almost pulled off an upset at Daytona in the 60 No Fear car, I believe, years ago.
Yep. You bet.
Yeah. So, what other road racing figures have you had good interactions with, or legends, if you had any?